Welcome everybody to the HubSpot user group event from SEO to AEO, optimizing your HubSpot website for AI search. So today, definitely introduce yourselves in the chat, continue to share who you are, where you're coming from, what your questions are, so we can help each other here. Buenos Aires, Argentina. Josefina, yo soy argentino también. I'm also from Argentina originally. How about that, Josefina? Good to have a fellow Argentinian here. Good stuff.
Excelente.
Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. So, all right, guys, keep introducing yourselves. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gabriel Marguglio. I am the CEO and founder of Nextiny Marketing. We've been in business for almost 24 years now, and we are a HubSpot Platinum solution partner that specializes in HubSpot websites, marketing and sales alignment, customer acquisition, and of course, we do SEO, AEO, and video production. So if we go deeper into those things, there's a lot of video production, video marketing, and we'll talk about some of those things. But we've been an SEO agency for a long, long time. We actually started with websites and SEO, so that's kind of like our foundation. And it's beautiful to see how SEO and video are kind of having a revival. Not that we ever stopped doing it, but with AEO and AI search having a revival here. So this is, and by the way, I'm going to put our site address and I'll share my information later too. Check us out, or if you need any help with any of these things that we're going to be talking about today. So this is a video series. We've been doing a webinar series with from SEO to AEO. I'm going to share the recordings for the other ones if you want to join and check us out. I just share the link for all the recordings, and these are also going to become blogs. This is part of the strategy we're going to talk about today, but at the end of the day, this is the fourth one of a series of four initial. We're going to keep going with these webinars about from SEO to AEO. We did how AI is redefining client acquisition. We did how loop versus inbound marketing. We did optimizing your content engine with video, webinars, and podcasts. And this one is optimizing your HubSpot website. We'll talk about general websites, but we'll talk about HubSpot, of course, because this is a HubSpot user group. We're going to go through the agenda right now. We'll talk a little bit about how AI is redefining client acquisition, a little recap from all the other three events very quickly, so everybody's up to speed. Of course, you can go check our recordings and stuff. We'll talk about how to optimize your HubSpot website for SEO and AEO, how to optimize your videos on your website for SEO, AEO, and how to measure success on AEO, which is one of the questions that we kept having. Like, yes, this is great, but how do I know if this is working? This is the one that we'll dig a little deeper. But before we go there, is anybody feeling like all these and all these changes in AI are the robots making us have to work and be harder, better, faster, stronger? Anybody Daft Punk fans here in the audience, raise your hand, say yay, or say harder, better, faster, stronger. Let's see who comes up with that the fastest. This was the other day. I was thinking about it, and it's like they knew the AI was coming, the robots of Daft Punk, and that we were going to have to be harder, better, faster, and stronger. And it's a feeling, right? Like everybody's thinking like, okay, AI is great, but now we need to do more in less time. And how do we do it? And is AI our friend or is it our enemy? So we'll talk a little bit about, how you can get out of this feeling more into creating success and generating results from this. So I thought this was funny, but I have another reference about AI. A lot of what happened in the 80s and 90s and 2000s is being it's being replicated in the AI world nowadays. So we'll talk a little bit about right now of what we talked about in the last three sessions, and then we'll go right into how to optimize your website. So for sure, search isn't links anymore. It's also answers. And I'm going to say also again, because SEO is still live, and we'll talk about that. AI overviews, ChatGPT, all these AI LLM are changing how people discover you, not replacing, but changing how they discover you. And it's a question: how do we stay visible in this answer first world, right? So these are some of the shift that we've talked about. 60% of Google searches end up in 0 clicks, and 70% of B2B buyers complete their decision to sales, right? So all these things are happening, and that's scary, but also 3 times as much conversions from leads that came from AI. So there are certain things happening with your Google search traffic that for some of you may have gone down. Actually, if you've been doing what you were supposed to, or taking care of SEO, and I'm not going to say supposed to, if you were actively doing SEO, most of the time you will probably not see such a impact on, depending on the industry, depending on a lot of things, such an impact on SEO. We have had multiple of our clients, our own website actually grew this year. And I think it has to do because with AI, we went back and optimized more and did more things and took care of more schema related things. So long story short, I think those optimizations actually helped our SEO. So our Google traffic didn't shift. But you may be not seeing as many Google leads coming, or people not searching on Google and then ending up on a lead. But the leads coming from AI are also 3 times as much higher conversion than the other one. So AI is becoming your new homepage, but don't freak out, because Google is still 210 times bigger than ChatGPT. I'm going to say that again, times bigger than ChatGPT, 210 times. Therefore, and this is a study by Search Engine Land. I'm going to actually put the link right here so you guys can share it with your boss and tell them to stop telling you to do AI. No, I'm just kidding. Won't be able to tell your boss to stop doing AI. That ship has sailed. But Google is still your number one source. Google is still there. And even though that Google traffic might not come back, and you might not be able to get the same traffic that you had from Google or leads into AI, there's a new source that you need to take care of, which is the AI referrals, and you need to work to get it better over time. But again, don't freak out. Google's still huge. People still search here. People will continue to come to your website from Google. And SEO is not dead at all. On the contrary, I think this makes us have to do more SEO and take care of more of SEO, because SEO is more important for AEO, which is what we're doing with answer engine optimization. This is a funny graphic that funny and sad at the same time. We keep declaring SEO as dead. Every time there's a change, there's a Panda update, there's ChatGPT showed up, like Google started using AI. Like every time any of these changes happen, the industry says SEO is dead, but the industry keeps growing. Actually, that graphic is showing the millions of dollars in the industry of SEO. So what are we doing now? We're doing SEO, but we're doing AEO, which is answer engine optimization, which is not just optimizing for showing up on Google as links, but also as the AI answer. Any questions so far? I'm going to actually include a link here so you guys can actually go to our website and check that out. That loop was not supposed to be there, but that's okay. So what's the difference between SEO and AEO? Instead of doing top 5 links, we're trying to be part of the answer. Instead of optimizing just for keywords and backlinks, we're optimizing for statistics, quotations, credibility, and all these important things. We'll go more through this in a second, but there's also something very important, the importance of being real. You need to showcase that what you're doing, the credibility needs to be there, is real. And how do you do that? You have to be authentic. You have to showcase numbers, and you have to have people talk about you. So this is one of the reasons why we believe that video matters a lot more today for SEO, and authenticity wins. You have the human connection aspect of it, In a world where, and this was the other reference to this, in this case, a movie, I talked about, how Morpheus was telling Neo, welcome to the desert of the real, right? And at the end of the day, what this means is, in the movie, The Matrix, of course. If I ruined it, sorry. It's been there for 23 years, I think. But in a world where anything can be faked with AI, authenticity is going to be a differentiator. It's going to be very, very important to create real things, to showcase who you are. Humans are going to crave that. Google and AI are going to crave that, and they're going to need that for the credibility piece. So video is becoming more and more important. Webinars are having a revival too. We'll talk about that in a second. It also gives you multi-channel power. You can create blogs, podcasts, you can create shorts for social media, and it increases your SEO and AI visibility. We talked a little bit about the difference between inbound marketing and the loop. And the loop is just about being able to do inbound marketing faster and stronger and harder, and creating these shorter loops instead of very long campaigns, but keeping your fundamentals. What we talked about in these other 3 sessions is that if you're creating helpful human content, if you're still doing great SEO, if you're using methodologies like StoryBrand and They Ask You Answer, and you're doing video webinars and all these things, you can definitely continue to grow on SEO and AEO. And the loop works the same way. You just need to find better ways to run faster, shorter loops to learn from these loops and grow from there. And one of the questions that we get is how do you run video or webinars in an effective way? This is a great picture from graphic from Wistia. It is hard. There's so many steps to do any of these things, right? So we introduced a content engine loop. The idea is to create webinars, which is easier than ever by using amazing tools nowadays, and Wistia is one of them. Then cropping those clips from social, creating a blog for SEO and AEO, creating podcasts if you have that ability or you want to do that. Email to re-engage, improve AI answers and search through those blogs and links internally on your website, and restart and keep doing this. If you create a webinar series, you can have unlimited content forever, and each webinar has people coming to your webinar. This could be a webinar internally with your team. It could be just a webinar where you have 4 people talking about a thing, and that becomes a webinar series. You can invite people from the outside world, or you can invite your clients. But the good thing about a webinar is that it's a human conversation with questions, with interesting things, where you are showcasing your value, where you're talking about the things that you are actually doing. That showcases the trustworthiness and the credibility that you need to be showcased on Google and AI. And it allows you to create a lot of content around this. And again, if you felt like the robots are keeping you working faster, stronger, and harder and better, AI can actually help. You can use AI to scale. Do not use AI to replace, because that's where the problems start. That's where Google will penalize you, and AI won't show content created by themselves with crap from the internet, right? Like, it has to be valuable, real content you are creating. A good example is like transcribing webinars with Wistia or other tools, and then putting that transcript in ChatGPT and getting a bunch of content out of it, but then creating a blog article with FAQs and the schema that you need. We'll talk about how to do all of that, but all of that could be created with AI, saving time and doing a lot more, sending the right signals for AI. So AI helps you repurpose faster while keeping your voice, because you're doing it really. So how do you optimize your website for SEO and AEO nowadays? And this is kind of going a little bit back to what SEO was turning into. And EEAT is something to keep in mind. It's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. At the end of the day, if you are doing these things, you're sending these signals, this helps you with SEO, with Google, showing up on Google, but it also helps you with AI. AI takes these as very important, but AI reads your website differently from Google and from humans. because AI is an engine and it's all based on questions and answers and entities. So at the end of the day, AI, when AI is reading your website, they're looking at the structured data. They read looking at the structured data, schema, what FAQs, what the question is, what the answer is. And they think about entities, and entities talk about what are the things that you're talking about. And we'll talk about more entities in a second. And again, if you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. So from SEO keywords to AEO entities, the shift is, instead of working on words and intent, and I'm going to say again, instead of just working on words and intent, you're going to continue to do your SEO fundamentals as you have been doing, and as we all should be doing. Do not stop doing the SEO fundamentals that you need for your website, for your blogs, for your articles, for your videos. This is a layer on top. This is not a replacement of what you were doing. You're going to target for questions and entities, right? And entities are who you are, the name of your organization, your location, your services. So instead of just doing a blog about best marketing agency in Sarasota, you're going to include entities in the questions and answers in your content, like Nextiny Marketing, HubSpot Partner, Video SEO, Sarasota, Florida. We'll go more into entities when we look at the AEO grader. But again, you want to make sure that those entities are mentioned and addressed in the questions and answers and in the content that you create, so you rank or are cited by AI as it's checking your content. So create, again, highly relevant content that answer your ideal client's questions, that has a consistent message, that talks about the pains of your ideal clients, that pinpoints your ICPs, ideal client profiles, questions that they have constantly, and answers their pains with a solution, and puts you as the authority, and sends the authority signals. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? Well, yes, amazing methodologies that we've been using for the longest time. So if you're familiar with StoryBrand and They Ask You Answer, and Brand Affinity Marketing, and you have been doing some of these things, a combination or one of them at least, everything I'm talking about is actually addressed by these methodologies. StoryBrand is all about having clear messaging, an ideal client that has pains, and how that pain is resolved with a solution, and who is the authority to that solution. You. Why? And you send signals with testimonials and data and numbers, all these things, and making your process easy and having a call to action. All of these things we have been doing over years with StoryBrand is what AI and Google and humans want from your website, from your content. So using StoryBrand to structure your website, to structure your homepage, to structure your service pages is one of the best ways that you have to send the right signals to Google and AI to rank you. Same thing with They Ask You Answer. If you put that on top and you answer your ideal client's questions, question, answer, that's how AI thinks. If you're answering your ideal client's questions and you have conversational style content on your website that answers a question that is from your ICPs, then you're doing, first of all, it was always, SEO was always about making it easier for Google to figure it out. Well, the same thing with AI. If you're giving it already in conversational style, if you're giving it already as a question and answer, you are actually helping AI understand who you are, what your entities are, and what you're answering, what the answer is to each one of those questions. In Brand Affinity Marketing, it's a Wistia methodology that we love. It's all about people spending time on your brand and creating video content continuously, and connecting at a human level, and creating the feelings that are behind your brand. And the more people spend time with your brand, the more they will recommend you. All of that is great for humans, and all of those are great signals for AI about your credibility and trust. So using video and webinars are an amazing way to create those signals for Google and for AI. Now, there's an advantage of using HubSpot because HubSpot has been already optimized for SEO in a lot of ways. There's a lot of structured data already in a HubSpot website. If you're using other websites too, but if you're using HubSpot, of course, most blog engines in any website are semi-structured data. The title, the description, H1s, H2s, keywords, all of those are structured data that's telling Google and telling AI, these are important things. You know, the title of the blog is the main question. What are we answering, right? And then H2s are what's in this article, what's, individual questions about this main topic we're answering. And there should be an answer to those H2s. There's keywords that give you an idea. There's a description that gives you a whole intro to what the article is about. Same thing with knowledge bases. The knowledge base for HubSpot is structured data. It's a question is an answer. Now, also, HubSpot has a lot of SEO tools, including topic clusters, like pages. You can track by these topic clusters. All of this still matters because that structure, your website structure, still matters for hierarchy, for Google to understand what are your services, what are your portfolio, what is your FAQ, what are the questions for each service. Add an FAQ at the bottom of each service page and add schema for one of those. Now, what's great about HubSpot is that you can just put schema in the editor because it's compatible, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. Now, again, schema is the code that we use, and we've talked about this multiple times, the code that we use to tell AI bots, all software out there, what things are. The same way in your CRM, there's fields, custom fields, or your first name field has a name. That's structure because it knows, the HubSpot CRM knows first name is Gabriel and last name is Marguglio. So now Gabriel is the first name. We know that is the first name because that's structured in a specific field. Now, if you get an email, that's a bunch of data inside the CRM that the CRM needs to try to understand. And now with AI, we have a lot of great tools that allow us to do that, but it's not structured. So a blog has certain structure features, but then everything else is unstructured. So it's harder for Google and AI to understand what this is about. So marking structured data with schema code, which you can create with ChatGPT, by the way, will allow the Google and AI understand. For example, your video embed code is schema that can tell AI that this is a video, there's a transcript, and all these things. We'll talk about that in a second. FAQs are very important for AI. So adding an FAQ at the bottom of your blog and adding some schema code with the same Q&A in the code actually sends the signal that this is structured. This is a question, this is an answer. This is a question, this is an answer. It's not just a bunch of text that looks like questions and answers. This is a question, this is an answer. So that's what you're doing by using structured data and schema. You're sending the signals that these are very specific things that they need to take into consideration. And you can just copy in the head of the page or of the blog. There's also other ones that come out automatically there, like your organization name. And if you, for example, if locality is very important and you have multiple locations, you want to make sure that in each page that is for a different location, the address and the information for that location is there. So that's taking into consideration as a local business. And if you have multiple locations on each page for that location, have the address for that location on the footer, that's sending the signal that those pages are for that location with structured data. Now, what you need to do is try to create content that AI loves, but also human love. So video is a great example of that. Answering your ideal client's questions is a great example of that. Using conversational headers like, what is this? Or how does this work? Or when you're putting explainer parts in your website or your blogs, all of this help Google and AI understand what you're answering and who you're answering it for. Now, when you're optimizing your blogs, there's a certain structure that works better. Adding a TLR, actually, that's wrong. It's too long to read at the top, which means a section that explains what the blog is about in 60 to 80 words, right? Just create an intro, but instead of being today we're going to talk about this, the intro should be today we're going to talk about this because of this and this and that, and this is how it works, and this is the solution to it, right? And you would say, why would I put a whole explanation of what the article is if there's an article underneath? Well, first of all, it's a great summary, but it's a summary for Google and AI to have a direct answer to the question, which is the title of the blog. And that actually improves your probability for that blog to be cited as the answer. Have the H2s set up as questions that have a clear answer underneath. Have an FAQ section at the bottom of your blog and a checklist or something that simplifies things for AI to say, oh, this is what they're talking about, and these are the Q&A, the questions, and the answers. When you're creating blogs that come from a webinar, this is very organic because at the end of the day, the questions happen on the webinar and the answers happen too. So just taking that into an FAQ section doesn't look weird, doesn't feel weird. Some articles might not be conducive to that structure, but if you're creating articles or pages that in your service pages, there's definitely FAQs. In your events, there were questions throughout the event, and at the end of the event, include all of those and include the schema on those FAQs, that page specifically. Videos and short conversational answers and bullets are also preferable. If you're like writing like in a book in paragraphs, long paragraphs, that's where you might lose a little bit of the AI side of things. Google will still pick you up and stuff like that. But remember, Google is moving into Google AI mode and the AI brief at the top of the page. So all those things are going to be better if you actually use conversational question and answer and conversational structures in your content than big, long paragraphs. If we talk about a checklist on AEO and how we recommend you think about this on the things that you need to do on your website, on your articles, on your new blogs. Start with the new stuff. Like every new article, you start doing this, and it'll get better and better and better. Continue to do SEO and email marketing as you were doing. Do not stop any of those things. They still work, and they're more important than ever. But optimize for questions and entities, not just for keywords. Include keywords. That's important. Google is your number one source. Keep doing that. You structure data when it makes sense. FAQs, videos, your location, etc., etc. Create video, and on those videos, create chapters and transcripts. We'll talk about that in a second. Publish FAQs when you can, and use conversational content instead of just long paragraphs like books. It's not so much editorial, and it's more answering a question, answering multiple questions, and keep doing great inbound and SEO. Just keep doing that. Any questions so far? You want to put it in the chat? So when you say include the transcript, do you paste it in the blog? Amazing question, Taylor. We'll talk about that in a second. Like literally a second from now, we'll be talking about the transcripts for your videos. So what we recommend for first of all, videos and webinars are AEO gold. AI search prefers sources it can cite and verify. So if you have a video where you're talking about it and you're giving examples and there's questions and answers, that is going to be taken into consideration at a high trust, high credibility. That's why we recommend using video for those aspects. So each webinar also give you multiple Q&As, questions and answers, which is what drives AI anyways. You can match the video title to the questions on your blog when you write the blog. So the chapters are the same as the questions on your H2s in the blog. Now there's two ways you can do this. And by the way, that example that I'm showing there, I just searched like why is video good for AEO? And actually Google did an AI overview answer from my transcript, from what I said in our Optimizing Your Content Engine with Video Webinars and Podcasts. That is our webinar that we ran 2 weeks ago about AEO to AEO, how to optimize your content engine with video webinars and podcasts. It actually posted this from YouTube because YouTube includes the transcript, a description, keywords, a title. All of that is structured data. All of that is attached to the video, but the video is also attached. There's real proof that we talked about these things. So AI is going to cite these videos, but it can only cite it if you can see it. So upload all your videos to YouTube to make sure that, first of all, they're seen on YouTube, because YouTube is going to continue to be a source, a high credibility source for AI and Google. Like in this case, the example. Doesn't matter if you use an avatar in a webinar video. I wouldn't use an avatar because that defeats the purpose of you being real. We talked a little bit more about this and Taylor, don't worry, I'll get back to the transcript in a second. But Jason, we talked a little bit about this a lot more in the web about video and webinars. And I'm going to put the recordings again here if you want to go check it out. But anybody can fake anything now. I literally had a conversation with an attorney last week, where he was talking about how attorneys are actually getting together and trying to decide how they're going to manage video evidence in court, because video evidence in court was the best kind of evidence. Oh, you had a video of someone getting into the house and robbing the TV? That's it. They go to jail, right? Like it was as easy as that. Now, video evidence has become inconsequential because it could be faked. So how are they going to deal with this? If attorneys are having this issue, I can trust you. I can trust me. Google and AI are not going, and humans, things that look or sound like AI. And it's happening already. People don't want to engage with AI chatbots in some situations. They don't want to end with an AI voice on the phone. And if you're creating video and you're using an avatar instead of yourself, you're defeating the purpose of doing video per se. Now, if you're doing internal training or something like that, Jason, fantastic, because your employees understand this is the avatar we use to make it easier to run internal training or HR or whatever. But if this is to humans out there, your ideal clients, your clients, an avatar defeats the purpose. I know there's a lot of people using avatars out there. I have asked multiple times in these workshops that people, how do you feel when you are on LinkedIn and there's a goofy avatar talking? And the feelings are never good. The feelings are like, yeah, it looks fake. Yeah, I didn't believe it. Yeah. Like anybody can do that. But if you are you and you make mistakes and you say things the way they come up from your brain, and you are asking people's questions like I'm and answering people's questions like I'm answering yours, Jason, right now, this is real. I know I'm trying to learn, I'm testing, I'm telling you, you ask me, I tell you what to do, you go test it, you come back next week, we have another conversation. This cannot be faked. And this sends the right signals to Google and AI that you're real, that you're doing it. And also humans will like it. Humans, I keep telling my kids, I have a bunch of kids that are all artists because they can, because I work really hard to allow them to be artists, filmmakers and music production and all these great things. And they keep being worried about AI and how AI is going to create a bunch of crap. And my answer is that nobody will want to listen to AI music. Yes, there's an industry for that. Yes, if you're like exercising and there's AI music, you won't even notice. But art is not going to be replaced by AI. You keep doing your thing. You keep doing things that come from the heart, that come from your mind, that come from feelings. That kind of art, that kind of content, that kind of humanity is what humans will crave more and more. As AI continues to grow, we need to become more human. So I would not use avatars. So thank you, Taylor. We need more humans. Let's AI more humans. Let's use AI to get better, faster, stronger, but not replace us with AI, because nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to listen to that. That's my take. There's some people doing great things with avatars, and you can do voiceovers. I do a whole video bootcamp for HubSpot Academy where we talk about all these things, and I give a lot of AI tools. There's so many great tools out there that you can use that are going to help you do this faster and avoid issues. And you can turn your voice into a voice avatar and then do voiceovers, and that's still you. And a lot of things are getting better, but be careful. Be careful, because people will crave human content. And then we'll have a problem if you're faking it with AI, especially because everybody's going to be faking it with AI because it's faster, it's cheaper, right? Going back, Taylor, to your questions with transcripts, you can't copy paste the whole transcript on your website. And most embeds are JavaScript, and AI does not run JavaScript when they're checking your website. So most of the videos on your website might not even be seen by AI at all, because the only thing they see is a code that cannot be executed. So that's why I said, first of all, this is what Rand Fishkin said. I read it the other day, one of our SEO gods out there. So Rand Fishkin said, always put the video on YouTube, because that's a way to trick the system to say the transcript is there, everything's there. So that page will have all that content. At least that video is going to help your content. You can have a link and do all that stuff. But now Wistia, which is one of our great partners, have actually included the transcript as part of the code. So they've optimized their embed code. So every time you embed a Wistia video on your website, what you're doing, not only I've been saying this for the longest time, a Wistia video embedded on your website will rank on Google as a video because it has the SEO attached to it, the description, the title, all the things you do on video SEO on YouTube, you can do on Wistia, and you embed it on your website. And then when it shows up on Google, if you click on it, instead of taking YouTube, for example, it takes people back to your website. So using Wistia as your video hosting and video analytics and webinars, of course, tool allows you to get more from your videos for SEO and now for AEO, because what they did is they changed the code. So the whole transcript of the video it's on the code. It doesn't show up each, but it's part of the schema of that video. Therefore, AI can read the whole thing. So now you have a page with 3 paragraphs or a whole blog entry, but the whole transcript of that hour of webinar is also part of that page. And all that content is taken into consideration for how that page is ranking and how it's answering people's questions. So can you add the transcript to the embed manually if you don't use Wistia? No, that's the thing. You need to use some kind of technology that includes the transcript as part of the embed. You can't cheat it. It has to be part of the actual embed. So use technology like Wistia. There's others that are trying to do the same thing now. And I think this is a great workaround. In the meantime, make sure you upload all your videos on YouTube so that is being taken care of on that end. So your AEO checklist for video and webinars is made videos and webinar content regular. This will not only allow you to send the right signals and create, shorts that you can post on social media and people can share. All of that is the credibility that you need for Google and AI to rank you. But add the transcripts, add chapters, right? Then keep doing your SEO fundamentals, write the H2 tags as a question, and then use those for the same chapters in the video. Again, make sure that it's cohesive with the video content that you have in that blog, for example. Add schema markups like FAQ page or video object. These are important because they also allow you to make sure that the video is taken into consideration as structure data. For example, the Wistia embed that includes the transcript for the whole thing. Make your videos visible with AI, like we talked about with Wistia, and post them on YouTube. And then track video engagement. Video is also great for humans. Video is the best thing you could do to engage with humans. It creates that emotion connection with humans. It allows you to connect at a different level. If you run webinars constantly like these, humans will connect with you. Humans will want to know more. They will want to schedule a meeting. That happens constantly to us. It happened last week. We booked a meeting from the webinar, and we're sending a proposal now. So at the end of the day, this is a great way to do SEO, to have amazing content, and to do AI, AEO. But it's also a great way to business and teach people and educate and give back and do a lot of great things that are the human part of the business that we should not replace with AI. Any questions, guys? We're going to talk about how to measure all of this in a second, but any questions? Thank you, Isabella. Yeah, Wistia is amazing. And if you don't know, guys, this is Wistia URL if you want to check that out. And here I have a couple other links to share while you put your questions in there. If you want to check these articles right there. A little bit about the loop. We should definitely check out Wistia. Yes, you guys check out Wistia. Let me know if you need any help. We've been partners with them for years. And I'm gonna put my email. I know we're gonna do this long too, but if you have any questions specifically about Wistia, you can just email me directly there. So let's talk a little bit about how to measure success with AEO, because we've been using a lot of tools for SEO. HubSpot has a lot of great tools for SEO. SEMrush has a lot of tools. There's a lot of great tools for local SEO, but AEO is a whole new thing, and we're trying to figure it out, and there's some tools coming up. So let's talk about some of those tools and how we're testing all of these things. First thing I would do is just go directly. Don't guess. Don't say, well, I think. No, just go to ChatGPT and ask, what do you know about this company? What do you know about this, right? Who is this company? What is this company known for? What is this company good for? What is this company not good for? What are these companies' competitors? About your company. You do this about your company. And again, use those entities that we were talking about. What is this company good for in this methodology with this framework in this city, right? Like, is this company, a great thing, X, Y, or Z? Those are the entities in this town. That's another entity. So ask ChatGPT the way you think your clients will be asking. So not just ask that generic question, but ask related questions to what you need. Talk about your industry and talk as a complete stranger. Don't use your own ChatGPT account that has all the memory. Go to a new ChatGPT screen that doesn't have the memory, or go to the free version and test this. Who is this company? What do they do? What are they good at? What are they bad at? What are the competitors? Are they better than their competitors about this, about that? Do they have good testimonials? Do they have good, reviews? Are they credible? Are they good? Like I asked, for example, do they really do AI? Like I asked about myself, do they really do AI? Do they really know about AI? Or they just say they're AI, whatever. And it's like, no, yeah, there's a case study and they've been doing this for years and they introduced 7 cents about us, right? 8 years ago, and they've been doing it for a lot of their clients, and they increased 36% in opening rates on emails by using AI. So that's what you need to try to dig deep about your own company by using AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Google AI. Ask the questions and then document what you get. And if you don't get what you want, it's because your website and your content is not sending the right signals. So go and fix that. What's missing is what you need to work on. As we used to do on Google, when certain keywords didn't show up, you would write a blog article about those keywords. Whatever is not showing up when you're doing research about your company is the things you need to write about. If you're outdated, if your content is outdated on your website, and the latest thing you're doing, amazing for all your clients, is not documented, you're not talking about it, it's not real, there's no case studies, there's no testimonials, nobody is going to know. Google is not going to know, and AI is not going to know. Monica says, what if you ask AI about your company and the answers come back incorrect? That's the whole point of doing this, Monica. This is great, because that's the perfect question. Correct. Because it's somewhere in the world, or in the internet, that content exists. Whatever is incorrect. Okay, we know AI lies. We know AI, what's it called? Dreams, and like, it's another word. It's not dreaming. Is hallucinates. That's the word, which is insane. So when AI can't find something, sorry, in some cases, it invents it. And it's because of the models, and they're trying to fix that. It has to do with how the models are taught to grow, right? So they're taught with reinforcement, and there's no negative reinforcement. There's only positive reinforcement. There's a whole theory behind it. But long story short, the models will try to give you whatever answer they can give you, and sometimes they will lie. But if you ask about a specific company, most of the time that content is very cut and dry. We're not talking about some obscure thing, right? And sometimes it'll tell you there's 100 companies with that name. That tells you you have a different kind of problem, right? Maybe be more specific with the question, or maybe you rebrand, because if you call your company Coca-Cola, then maybe you'll get confused. So at the end of the day, to answer your question, Monica, if the answer is incorrect, be careful, because that content might be somewhere. Go and search for it. Copy paste it, search for it. Or ask, where did you get this content? What is the source of this? And it'll cite the sources most of the time, and you'll see where the content is, and if there's a way for you to correct it. Of course, if there's a review on Yelp, that might be where it's coming from. It might say, customers complain about this company doing this and that happens. And first of all, that's great to know, because you should know when customers are saying bad things about you. We actually run reports on reviews for a lot of our clients, especially when you do local SEO, but it's great for SEO, and it's incredible for AI AEO. You need to know when people are saying the wrong things, and you need to go answer those with data. You need to answer those reviews. That's always been the case. The best way to solve for a bad review is to answer it, and not just say this is fake or whatever. But it's like, we don't have any records, but I would like to help you. Send me an email to this, whatever. Like, try to be human and resolve it, and that's a good signal to AI. You have to take care of those things, even if there's a bad review. So try to learn what AI says, and then there's tools. HubSpot has an AEO grader. I'm going to put the link right here, which is pretty amazing, actually. They did a great job. It reminds me of the good old days of the website grader, which we still use today to rank a lot of things, to check for SEO and speed on websites. But the AEO grader, which is in beta right now, allows you to test for those entities and analyze your trust signals, and it gives you numbers, which is, again, great to know, because not only you can go to ChatGPT and see if you show up and what it knows and all that stuff, but you can put your company and your location and your services and your industry, which are all entities, and it'll tell you, not only ChatGPT, but Perplexity and Gemini, the three models, how they're ranking you. And in this case, this is what you're seeing on the screen is actually a report for a specific entity. But if you put your email address, which is what HubSpot does with those free tools, it gives you a whole report. And you can see how different models actually sees you and what are the signals they're taking into consideration and what reviews they're reading and how many citations, how many times you're being cited on that AI model. So definitely I would recommend running not just your website, because it's not for your website, your entities through the AEO grader, because you'll learn a lot through that process. So much data in there. Go through the data, try to understand what's missing. Again, to Monica's question, what if it's wrong? If it's wrong, it's coming from somewhere. You need to go fix that. It's maybe old content on your website, blog articles from the past, testimonials in other websites. Maybe someone wrote an article about you. Maybe there's a, more of a, credibility, work you need to do in reviews, or, maybe there's media. If you're a publicly traded company, it's different because the media talks about you. So the content might be coming from other websites, from the newspaper, right? Like, so at the end of the day, understand that. And try to mitigate for that the same way we've been mitigating for SEO and for showing up on Google. When someone would put the name of their company and instead of showing up a bad article about someone writing about your company, that's mitigated by creating an article about it and doing, all kinds of things around it. Just know first how AI is seeing you, where those signals are, and you'll learn a lot about your company and how it's being cited on AI. Again, any questions, let me know. What's cool is that there's another new tool that's coming in HubSpot. There's an AEO strategy tool that's coming. Wait for this to be enabled for everybody that has Content Hub. It's going to have a lot more connection. You can actually see, your recommendations. There's going to have recommendations. You can analyze how it's growing. The topic clusters are going to be in there. So they're enhancing the SEO tool that you had, the topic clusters and the pillar pages, into now an AEO strategy tool. What you can do today with HubSpot is check your AI sources, because now you have AI referrals as a source on your reports. So if you're running reports with HubSpot, you can actually see AI referrals like you see here. And this is actually real. In the last this month or last month, we had like 100 sessions that came from AI and 2 leads. So it's more like 2%, not 1%. It's incredible. It's double than organic search. Now you can see in the same amount of time, in this case, we got 2,700 visits from Google and 27 leads, and paid had more. But the conversion rate was higher. And this is what we saw in that analysis that I was talking about before. Those 2 leads, one was a rep in HubSpot that found us because he was looking for something specific as a HubSpot partner. So a rep working with someone found us. And then the second one was a client that I have a meeting with them tomorrow. So you can now see your visits, leads, and clients with a new source, AI referrals. So treat this as a new channel. So can we integrate the AEO grader to a HubSpot form? I don't know what are you talking about Are you an agency, Josefina? Because that's agencies have Grader as a form inside the website. We do too, but I don't think that's enabled yet. But you can put the link on your website, of course. Sort of a question for the near future with the new new web browsers, Perplexity, Comet, OpenAI, Atlas, and with ChatGPT and PayPal just aligning for purchasing in the chat. Do you think these changes will shift things away from Google? A lot of Google traffic will not come back to Google. That is for sure. And I can tell you for a fact because I don't go to Google for a lot of things. And maybe you don't either. I go to ChatGPT for a lot of answers that I used to go to Google for. Google is not answering most of my questions. Google is answering specific things that I need. And then at the end of the day, remember that ChatGPT is still using Google to search for things. Yes, they have Atlas now and they have their own bot, but Google's still a great place to find everything, including for AI models. So I don't think Google's going anywhere. Now, in 10 years, might Google disappear with all these new browsers and new, search engines? It might, but as of today, Google is 210 times bigger in search than ChatGPT. So just keep that in mind. Do all these things. Continue to do amazing SEO. Continue to do amazing AEO. And no matter what it is in the future that either replaces or changes the way people search, you'll be there. Because at the end of the day, people were like, oh, now Google uses AI technology to rank. The fundamentals are still there. As long as you're creating great content for people, you're answering your clients' questions, your messaging is there, the pain is there, the solution is there, the authority is there, this is real, you're helping people, Google was going to rank you, no matter what the pandas or the whatever updates or Google rank or what ChatGPT came out, it doesn't matter. Traditional, amazing foundations for SEO and now AEO, in my opinion, will continue to help you make it better and better and better. We have been seeing this source recently. Yeah, so Yang Fei, this is great. It's great to see the numbers also coming on HubSpot. So there's key takeaways in a second, but I'd say one key takeaway from Jason's question is, yeah, things will continue to change, but if you continue to do the right thing and you do it right and you have the right fundamentals and you're structuring your website correctly and you're helping your ideal clients and the messaging is correctly, then you're good. You're good. So SEMrush has new tools. This is all new. There's a lot of things in there. You have to pay for it. It's expensive, but it's pretty cool. You can compare how your company comes up compared to other companies. It gives you how the question was answered by AI with your content. So there's a lot of great things you can get from this. This is for more advanced users, but definitely I would recommend if you're there. So some key takeaways before we go, and I can answer some questions and stay longer if you want. Keep your inbound marketing the loop and SEO foundations for AEO. Methodologies that you were using before are still working. StoryBrand, they ask you answer, brand affinity marketing, all amazing, will continue to work forever. Experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Continue to do this. And remember, authenticity is your differentiator. Build your content engine, feed it with webinars and videos. Webinars are the best, easiest way to do that. It's easier to run a webinar than ever. A great platform, by the way. Optimize your website and videos for AEO with structured data. Use FAQs, use transcripts, and more. Test using ChatGPT, Google AI, and some other tools. Run your brand and your entities through the AEO grader. And use AI to multiply, accelerate, and repurpose. Do not replace with AI. It's not a replacement. So, boom, guys, that's it. Please rate me right here. Rate the session from 1 to 10. I want to know if we didn't get to what you wanted. I'm here to answer if you want to spend some time. Definitely, I want to make sure that this was a good session for you. And if it wasn't, please let me know. I'm going to share 3 links here. We're running a special for everybody that comes to our sessions. And again, I already told you about all these events. You can go check the recording. We can definitely help. Running at 20% off on all HubSpot websites and all health checks if you're coming to our webinar. Those links that I just shared. And we're happy to help. Thank you, guys. Thank you for connecting. Have a great week. Let us know if you have any questions, and keep rocking and rolling, okay? Take it easy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.